Hello, my name is Dr. AB. I welcome you once again to this channel, Beyond the Consulting Room, where I talk about issues that concern your physical health, your human dignity, your self-development, and your overall well-being. In this video, I want to talk about discrimination, bias, and stereotyping because it borders on human dignity and well-being, all right? And I like to talk about issues that concern your human dignity and well-being. And I'm using racism as an example, even though there are other forms of discrimination, such as gender discrimination, discrimination because of age, disability, and so on. Racism seems more like a global phenomenon. We can see that it happens to people globally, and we can easily identify with it, all right? Now, I am very mindful also not to give the impression that discrimination can only happen to certain races, okay? I believe that discrimination can happen to all races or happen to all races, okay? In actual fact, the black person, we have seen black people discriminate against the white person, the white people. We've seen a white person discrimination against a black person. So when it comes to discrimination, we have to approach the issue as if all races could be culprits or victims when it comes to discrimination. So in this video, I'm so much concerned about focusing more on the concept of discrimination or the mindset of discrimination, and not to attack people or individuals engaged in discrimination, okay? And also with the belief that we human beings take on the mindset of the society. Okay, so I'm more concerned about talking about that mindset of discrimination. Okay, now when we talk about discrimination, we are actually talking about the fact that it's a phenomenon whereby we give the impression that there's something wrong with some people. They are different, they could be inferior to other people, and sometimes we think that they are not even human enough, okay? And they have to improve themselves as human, all right? Now, there have been several approaches to try to deal with the issue of discrimination, but such approaches have had some limitations. For instance, one approach is really where we encourage people to tolerate diversity. So in this sense, we admit that people are different, okay? People are not up to the standard of other people, but they should be tolerated anyhow, okay? So we talk about diversity, people tolerating diversity, okay? What this helps to achieve mainly is what people do to try to cover up discrimination. You know, we can have what we call the overt discrimination and the covert discrimination. The overt is where you can discriminate against somebody or a group, and everybody have seen that you are being discriminatory, all right? But the covert one is the hidden one, whereby you can take an action because of stereotyping or discrimination, but you can explain it away with something else, okay? And you cannot achieve trying to solve the problem of hidden discrimination if you just beg people and encourage people to tolerate diversity. They will pretend, okay? But in actual fact, or deep down within them, they know that these people that you're asking me to see as human beings are actually not as human as I am, okay? But I will manage to tolerate them, okay? So this has some limitations when we say that there's diversity, but learn to tolerate diversity, okay? A second approach to trying to address the issue of discrimination is whereby we also encourage people that are discriminated against to prove themselves. So if somebody has disability, we ask the person to prove himself or herself that he's capable, okay? If the person is facing some gender discrimination, we say, like, prove yourself that you are capable and stop complaining that you are being discriminated against, okay? But the issue of proving yourself really does not work, because I have come across a situation whereby notable people have actually expressed concern that no matter their achievements, their competence, people still discriminate against them. The former president, Barack Obama, had expressed some concerns. For instance, that when he was trying to vie for the position of presidency, all right, he felt that people were giving him the impression that he was too black to be president. Okay, now for somebody to try to approach that presidency, the US presidency, it means that the party of the individual had elected the person to lead the party. The person had demonstrated competence, okay, giving the impression that he was competent to lead a certain political party, the United States, to be given that opportunity, but he was still made to feel as if being black was a problem. Okay, so it's not always about competence, proving yourself. Discrimination can happen to anybody, regardless of your competence. Okay, in the same vein, his wife, Michelle Obama, had also complained that as a couple in the presidency, all right, they felt there was so much pressure on them to prove that they could run the presidency from the White House. The first black couple, do it or let's see, and they felt this pressure, okay, even from the black community, not to disappoint them, okay, that black people could not actually run the White House. Okay, so of course these are people that are so competent, so accomplished, but being black was a problem. Oprah Winfrey had said something similar. With all her influence, her achievements, her wealth, she still felt discrimination. LeBron James came out to say that, look, he's a very good basketball player, okay, very influential, very famous, very wealthy, but sometimes they made him feel as if being black was a problem. Some actors and actresses that were blacks came to explain that, look, sometimes when they were given movie roles, okay, the roles they were given, they sometimes performed the roles better than their white counterparts, but were given lower pays, okay, compared to this white counterpart. So the issue of prove yourself, all right, we are saying that you are inferior. Just prove yourself that you are not. Doesn't work. You can prove yourself, but still, if people say they will discriminate against you, they will do that. Okay, so I'm going to offer two solutions. Yes, two solutions. Number one, the first solution is that we must rather think that there's no diversity when it comes to the human being. Okay, all humans belong to the same species, one human species. All right, that can be traced to a common source, whether that source is evolution or creation by God. All humans come from a common source. In that sense, in terms of being part of a human race, okay, you are like everybody else, and there's nothing like diversity when we talk about the human race or human species. Okay, well, I believe that we're created by God in His image and likeness, and Adam and Eve were the prototypes of the creations of the first human beings. Okay, now they had to multiply and fill the earth, and if people get to be many on earth, what happens is that they have to migrate. They cannot live in the same geographical area. Some will have to migrate to other geographical areas. And there's a belief that one theory that explains the skin color is that as people moved to different geographical areas, they were exposed to varying degrees of sunlight or UV radiation. And the pigments in the skin, melanin, activities of these pigments had to adapt, okay, to the varied degrees of UV radiation, okay? So the change only happened in the skin, not in the entire human structure. In terms of human anatomy, or that is the human structure and the function of the human being, of these structures, okay? So these people passed on the skin color to their offsprings. All right, and that is all it is. Okay, so you have different skin colors and different geographical areas, but the human brain has not changed. The heart, the same heart, the same number of eyes. So whether you are black or white, you have the same one heart, two kidneys, two lungs. Okay, your structures are the same. Okay, that is why when we look at even diseases, the black, the white, the Asian, when COVID-19 came, all right, the black, COVID did not know the black person, the white person, the Asian person. So naturally, in terms of biology, there's no diversity. The human being is the same. Human species is the same. Okay? Diversity is created in the mind. It is the human mind that creates diversity. The human mind is what decides to say that, look, I'm going to create diversity. We are all human beings on this earth. Okay, the same human species, but we are on different continents, so we are different. We are on the same continents, but we are in different countries, so we are different. We are in the same country, but we are from different regions, so we are different. We are in the same region, we are from different districts, different communities, so we are different. Even in families, within families, people are forming groups in families. Okay, the human mind likes to form groups. All right, but in reality, as far as being a human species is concerned, there's no diversity when it comes to the human race. All right, so if you are being asked to tolerate another human being, you are not being asked to tolerate diversity. You are tolerating a human species like yourself. Okay, a second approach to deal with this issue is that we've been asking people to prove themselves as if there's something wrong with them. Okay, we have to stop thinking there's something wrong with the human being. The human being we believe is created in the image of God. How could there be something wrong with a person created in the image of God? Okay, rather what we think is that human beings, rather whether you are black or white, you are likely to live below your potential. So we encourage you that please live, try to express more of your potential. But we don't like to say that this person has to prove himself whether he can be, do, or have what is humanly possible. Because you have potential to be so much we don't even know. So there's nothing to prove. Nothing to prove. Okay? So there's nothing wrong with a human being to prove anything. All right? So it is deception, okay, to think that there's something wrong with a human species created in God's image, okay, who was given dominion to rule over the earth, like all other human beings, to think that that human being has to prove that he's capable. There are no surprises. Okay, when we see a human being do, be, or have what is humanly possible, and that applies to all races, okay, there is nothing to prove. Okay, so where then is the problem if you want to deal with the issue of racism mainly? All right, the problem has to do with the deception. A deception that sees people as different when we are all part of the same human species, human race. Okay? The deception that people must prove themselves as capable when the human being is created in the image of God and is known to be capable. All right? So that deception is a scam and should not have existed in the first place. So if we are going to attack the issue of racism, you're supposed to think that racism is a deception. Discrimination is deception. The human mind has been deceived. A person who practices racism must see himself as he has been deceived. His mind has been messed up. Okay? In a sense, we are going to take the pressure off the victim of racism to prove himself and put it on the perpetrator or the culprit to do something about his mindset. Okay? And then we are all going to be fine and live happily, all right, with one another. Okay? Thank you very much for watching this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.